Hey everyone, Happy Dude here, and on further inspection, that dent that I showed you in another video from damage to my car from a storm, well, it seems that it's actually a hole now. That's why I taped it with some duct tape, because I don't want any water in the trunk. You see? So I decided that I'm going to fix the damage that happened to my Volkswagen Jetta from a storm from a couple of months ago. So now I'm going to fetch some tools from neighbors and friends, because I want to do this as cheaply as possible. Now I don't really mind the small scratches all over the car, like on the hood and the side, and also the dents in the roof. I already put some paint on that so it doesn't rust. No, I don't want to drive around with duct tape on my car, and fixing everything would cost more than 3,000 euros because, well, it needs a new trunk and half the car needs to be repainted to fix everything. I don't want to spend that kind of money on this car. It's just a vehicle. If this was my BMW M2, I would be furious. But for this car, I don't really care. And the insurance won't pay the money because the damage is from pieces of roof that came falling down onto my car. And the irony is, the building it came from is from an insurance company. And they don't want to pay, and the owner of the building also doesn't want to pay. So it could take more than a year before I see that money. That is, if I see that money at all. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's fix this hole. First, let's dissolve some of that glue from the tape. Okay, done. Now, let's remove some of that paint. Alright, done. Okay, and now I have to make a difficult choice. Do I fill this up, or do I push the dent and the metal back? But if I'm going to do that, I will need to drill a new hole here because it's completely sealed off, and taking this carpet off doesn't help. It's closed up. I decided to drill a hole. Alright, done. Now let's make that hole a bit bigger from the other side. And now I can push the metal back from this side with a hammer. Okay, I pushed everything back. So that is as good as it's going to be. I'm just going to make it a bit flat again. It's a rubber hammer. And now I can put this metal piece of aluminum to the back side of the hole and then put some solder over there. And now I'm going to use a bit of gum to put this piece of aluminum to this extension so I can push it against the hole and then put some solder over that. You can also use this stuff to make things waterproof. It's really sticky and flexible. So I filled up the hole, and now I'm going to make it as flat as possible. Okay, the hole is completely filled up, and now we are going to make it completely flat. Wow, this looks even better than I had expected. The only thing to do now is to put some primer on, and then some black paint, and then a clear coat, and we're done. And just to make sure, I'm going to put some of that gum to the other side. Oh, that's lucky. My pinky finger just fits in there. First, let's degrease the surface. Now, before I put the primer on, I'm going to make some putty to make the surface completely flat. I'm going to mix it up. And now we wait for about an hour, and then we sand it again. First, we're gonna sand it with 180. Alright, now we have a bigger surface. And now we can put on a second layer of some putty. Then sand it again with 180. And when it feels flat, then it's time to sand it with 300. And then one final step with 600. And now it's time to put on the metal primer. But first we degrease the whole surface, and I already put some protection around the car so the primer and the new paint doesn't go all over the car and the glass. Okay, time to put the primer on. Okay, there are 5 layers of primer on there, and it certainly isn't perfect. You can still see it and feel it, but this is still better than a hole in there. Now it's time for the final step, so let's degrease it again, and then we're going to use this metallic black paint. Alright, time for the black paint. Always work in small layers. Luckily, the weather is perfect. There's almost no wind. It's sunny and dry. It's 20 degrees Celsius outside. Okay, time for the second coat. This one can be a little bit thicker. And now again, let's wait 5 minutes. After I've put the third layer of black paint on there, I let it dry for the night. And because you have a black spot, I decided to paint the whole trunk. So I'm going to sand everything and paint the whole trunk. Then after some sanding, you decrease it 5 times just to make sure. The second layer I've painted like this. And now we're going to do the third and last layer. And this one can be a lot thicker. You know the paint is ready when those shiny spots are all gone. Putting on the clear coat is the most difficult part. You want to wait about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the temperature, until the paint is dry but still a bit sticky. So the clear coat can really attach to the paint itself. And when you spray clear coat, don't do it too close or you will get drips. Don't do it too far, otherwise it will not be as smooth and shiny. And don't stay too long in the same space, but also don't go too fast. Then when the first layer of clear coat is on, you wait for about 5 minutes and then you can put the second coat on, and that one you can go a lot closer and a lot longer. Because this is a flat surface, the clear coat will lay on it. But if you have something like this, then it's dangerous to get drips. With a flat surface, it's a lot easier and safer to do. After the clear coat has dried for an hour, it's hard enough to wipe the dust off. And now I'm going to let the paint dry in the sun while I'm getting a tan. And now it's time to relax, listen to some music and hydrate. Here you can see the paint up close. There's a lot more metallic in the new paint than on the original. Also, the original paint is more than 10 years old, so I would never do a repair myself like on my BMW M2. But on this car, it doesn't really matter. It's a very good car, but I don't love it. But from a small distance, it looks very good. And tomorrow I'm gonna give it a polish. Alright, job done. I just polished the trunk and it's looking pretty good. Now under the right angle you can see some dust in the paint,
But what do you expect? It's painted with spray cans in an open garage. So it's not too bad for my first time. You know, they always say it's the craftsman and not the tools. I disagree on that. I have the knowledge and I have a bit of experience in painting, not in bodywork. So if you would have given me a professional spraying boot and a spray gun, I would have done a much better job. But that costs a lot of money, so I'm pretty happy with the result.
And the reason why I didn't use masking tape is because if you use that, you will always have a line from where the paint and the clear coat stops. And I don't have that now. It's very smooth. So thanks for watching, guys, and you all have a nice day. Bye.